I get some version of this question a lot in my chair. Not every day, but enough. So here's my real answer to, is there a makeup out there that won't bother my sensitive eyes? I'm Dr. Krista Stapleton and I work here at West Georgia Eye Care. And this is genuinely what I tell patients whose eyes seem to react to every makeup out there. So let's start with mascara, because that's the single biggest swap that I recommend. So I recommend to look for something called tubing mascara. So regular mascara will flake off, and you'll see it especially in the slit lamp, which is the big microscope that we use during your eye exam. I'll see it kind of floating in the tear film. So regular mascara does that. Tubing mascara does not. So the reason it's called tubing is it forms a tube around each lash, which is kind of cool. So again, it doesn't flake as much. It comes off with just warm water, so it's really gentle and easy. No scrubbing required. So that being said, so waterproof mascara isn't that it's dangerous. It's not the mascara itself that causes problems for sensitive eyes. It's usually the removal process, because waterproof mascara will stay on there. So typically you have to get a pretty good remover or use a lot of scrubbing to get it off. So I'm not saying don't use waterproof mascara, but if you have sensitive eyes, you may want to think about just using it for special occasions and things like that. Another tip when it comes to mascara is if you've heard about throwing away or replacing your makeup every 3 months, that is a good rule to follow, because bacteria can get into that mascara, it can get into that tube, and bacteria can cause your eyes irritation and things that we don't want there. So that's mascara. The next thing I want to talk about is eyeliner. So eyeliner, the thing to think about eyeliner is we have glands in our eyelids called meibomian glands, and they produce the oily part of the tear film. So the placement of the eyeliner can be crucial. So if we place it kind of what we call the waterline, I don't know if you've ever heard that terminology, but that's basically if you place your eyeliner behind your lash line, you may be placing it on the waterline, which is where those meibomian glands are, and we don't want product on top of those glands blocking them, because that could make your eyes where they're not as comfortable and they're not as healthy. So with eyeliner, I would suggest putting it in front of the lash line. You can still have achieve that same look, and like I said, not have that eyeliner product on top of those meibomian glands blocking those glands. We don't want that to happen. So that's my tip about eyeliner. Moving on to eyeshadow. I would recommend just a cream-based eyeshadow or a powder eyeshadow. I would caution to stay away from the glitter eyeshadows, because of course glitter, they have more particles, loose particles, and they can get in the eye, get in the tear film, and cause irritation. For my contact lens wearers out there, the order that you do things can really make a difference. So if you wear contacts, again, in the morning, we want to make sure, I would suggest put your contacts in first and then put your makeup on. And the reason behind that is because if you wash your hands, put your contacts in, then apply the makeup, your hands are the cleanest then. You haven't touched any makeup or got your hands on any makeup product. It's kind of think about it opposite in the evening. Take your contacts out first and then remove the makeup. And this reasoning is a little different. Again, of course, wash your hands, take your contacts out. But some of the makeup removers that we use, that makeup remover can, if it gets in contact with the contact lens, it can cause problems with it, especially these newer monthly contact lenses. They have new technology that makes them very comfortable, which is awesome. They have water gradient technology and things like that, but sometimes the chemical or the products in the makeup remover can disrupt and cause breakdown that contact lens at the edge. So that would be my recommendation for contact lens wearers. And again, talk about makeup removers. Sometimes the irritation's not necessarily from the product that we use, but it can be the removal process. Just that physical kind of rubbing and irritation can cause irritation to sensitive eyes. So I would suggest like a gentle cleanser, a fragrance-free cleanser, and give that cleanser time to work. Like when you apply it, give it a few seconds to work before you start rubbing and massaging and wiping it off. Also think about wipes. Wipes can be harsh sometimes too and abrasive, so you may want to stay away from wipes. So some things, so if you want to ask me what kind of product should you actually buy, some things to look for when you're looking at makeup, I would recommend look for fragrance-free, look for tubing mascara. For eyeshadow, again, mineral pressed cream eyeshadows are good, and then for makeup removers, I would kind of stay with a gentler makeup remover. So those are our tips for things to look for makeup for sensitive eyes. Come into the office if you have more questions. Thanks so much. Bye.